Okay, in this video, we will model the wheel that we'll use for the train. So let's go ahead and just move the 3D cursor back to the world origin here in the front. And let's just hide everything else for the moment so they're not in the way. And then we're going to hit Shift-A, add mesh circle, and we're going to change. No, we'll just leave it at 32. That should be fine. One thing that I'm trying to avoid is using the subdivision surface because it adds a lot of work cleaning up the mesh. So I'd like to start with a pretty high vertice count so that the wheel itself looks pretty round to start with without having to use the subdivision surface modifier. So we'll leave that at 32. If you don't have 32, go ahead and change that. And then we'll switch to edit mode and go to vertice select. Make sure all of them are selected. We're going to hit E to extrude, S to scale, and pull it in about that far, give or take. There's not a certain amount. And this will make kind of the outer rim of the wheel. Now we're going to hit E to extrude and S to scale, come in close to the center, and we're going to delete some of these in a few minutes to make the spokes for the wheel. Hit E to extrude, S to scale to make the center of the wheel, leaving a small opening, and we'll come back later and put like a little shiny metal part that looks like a bolt that's holding the wheel in place. Okay, let's now go to face select, and we're going to make each spoke 2 faces wide and then delete 2. So I'm just going to select one, shift select the next, 1, 2. So skip those 2. Select the next 2, skip 2, select 2, and so on, working your way around the outside of the wheel. So you should have a pattern of 2 selected, 2 unselected, all the way around. And then we're going to delete those faces to give us the spokes for the wheel. And now let's go ahead and hit A to select all. Then hit E to extrude, pull it up, give it whatever thickness you want. And then that should be pretty good. We'll go ahead and switch back to object mode. Let's rotate this on the X-axis 90 to move it up. And I want the origin to be here on this inside near the world center and the thickness sticking out. And then we can unhide everything else by hitting Alt-H. And let's move our wheel on the Y-axis out here kind of in front. And I'm going to line it up kind of center of this base and move this one towards the front of this car. And let's go ahead and look at it from the top, grab it on the Y-axis, and put it here close to, but it doesn't actually have to be touching for the front. Now, if you want it to be thicker, you can scale it on the Y-axis, and it's not going to go into the train. It's just going to come out from that point, and you can have a little flexibility to adjust it. Now, at this point, your wheel may be too big or small compared to what you want, but we're not going to change that just yet because I want to keep these numbers 2, and that will come in later when we're talking about making the wheel rotate. And when we get to that part later on, we'll set up some things with geometry nodes to make the wheel turn. And once those things are set up, we can adjust the scale and make it fit like you want. But while we're here, we can go ahead and add the mirror modifier. So if I go to add modifier, type in mirror, we want it to mirror on the Y-axis, not the X. And we want it to mirror along the base of our train, and that will put it perfectly on the other side. Okay, so that is how we'll make the wheel. And like I said, we will change the scale of it later, so don't stress too much about that. And in the next video, we will go ahead and add some materials to our train cars. We'll talk about either doing wood, or if you want to look more like paint, we'll go through both of those options.